What if the cure to your pain isn't found in healing, but in hardening? What if the problem wasn't that you felt too little, but that you felt too much for someone who didn't earn it? Let me ask you something real. When did you start believing that being soft would win her over, that vulnerability would bring her closer, that giving her your soul on a silver platter would make her stay? Nope. She didn't want the man who bowed. She wanted the man who could walk away. And you weren't him. Not yet. See, men get it twisted. We're taught to love fully, to be open, to communicate, to give without asking. And so you did. You gave your loyalty. You gave your peace. You gave your mind. You gave her the pedestal and placed yourself beneath it. But here's the brutal truth. She didn't leave because you were evil. She left because you were easy. She didn't fall out of love. She fell out of respect. And now you're sitting there asking yourself why. Why did she change? Why did her texts get colder? Why did her interest fade the moment you got serious? It wasn't an accident. She felt your desperation. She smelled the emotional hunger on you, and it repulsed her. In the rawest corners of female psychology, attraction dies the moment a man stops being a challenge. Not because she's cruel, but because nature doesn't reward weakness. She needs a man who can walk into fire and not flinch, a man who can lose her and not lose himself. So now you're broken, empty, checking her social media, replaying old messages, wondering if she's thinking about you. She might be, but she's not reaching out. And every second you wait for her, you lose another piece of yourself. That ends now. This is where you stop being the man who hopes and become the man who heals in silence. You don't need closure. You don't need answers. You need distance, discipline, detachment. This isn't about becoming bitter. It's about becoming bulletproof. The new version of you doesn't beg, doesn't cry, doesn't explain. He watches, he works, he walks away with his head high and doesn't look back. That's what Stoicism teaches. Emotional control is freedom. When you no longer react, you're no longer ruled. That's when you become dangerous. That's when you become unforgettable. And when she realizes you're not reaching out anymore, when she senses the shift, the silence, the cold, that's when the regret begins to boil. Not because you punished her, but because you elevated. You outgrew her chaos. You became untouchable. This video isn't a pity party. It's a battle map. We're going to walk through 10 brutal truths, 10 lessons carved from heartbreak, forged in detachment, and built on the bones of everything she never appreciated. Each one will make you colder, sharper, stronger. This is your resurrection. If you're done bleeding for someone who wouldn't flinch for you, if you're ready to become unbreakable, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I release what I cannot control. Now, let's start your transformation. Number 1. Her love was conditional. Yours was worship. You thought love was enough. You thought loyalty would be returned. That if you just held on tighter, gave more, stayed longer, she'd see your heart and never leave. But you missed the most important rule of all. Love that's not reciprocated is self-destruction. She loved you when it was easy, when you were mysterious, when you didn't show your full hand. But the moment you started worshipping her, putting her above your mission, your standards, your self-respect, she felt it, and she resented it. You gave her God status, and she got bored, because nothing kills attraction like certainty, and you gave her all of yours. Understand this. Her love had terms. Yours didn't. That's why you lost. She wanted a man who loved himself more than he loved her, a man she had to earn. Instead, you became the emotional provider, her therapist, her lapdog, and deep down, that made her feel one thing: superior. But women don't stay with men they feel above. They stay with men they admire, men who challenge them, who have the strength to say no, who don't fall apart just because a woman changes her tone or disappears for a day. You thought your love would save the relationship. Nope, your obsession is what buried it. Stoicism teaches us that we don't chase external validation. We don't give someone else the power to define our worth. You made her your everything. She made you an option. That ends now. From this moment forward, you stop loving people more than they prove they deserve it. You stop worshipping potential and start honoring reality. Her love was conditional. Good. Now your attention is too. If you're done giving your soul to people who only offer you crumbs, if you're ready to set your standards higher than your emotions, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I do not chase, I choose. Number 2. Emotion made you weak. She smelled it. You thought showing emotion made you real, made you authentic, made you human. And it does, but only when it's controlled. You made the mistake of handing her your emotional world without structure, without limits, without a gatekeeper. And the truth is, she sensed it. You weren't in control of your feelings, you were drowning in them. And she saw it. She felt the weight of your neediness every time you texted too quickly, got jealous too easily, over-explained your intentions, or tried to solve problems that weren't yours to fix. It wasn't love, it was emotional pressure. And pressure is unattractive when it comes from insecurity. You didn't feel like a rock. You felt like a sponge, soaking up everything she did, said, or felt, and bleeding it right back at her. Women aren't wired to be turned on by emotional chaos. They're drawn to emotional gravity, a man who feels deeply but never loses his frame. Let me be brutally clear. Emotion didn't make you weak. Your lack of control over it did. And weakness is something women instinctively pull away from, not out of cruelty, out of biology, out of psychology, because the second she became the emotional leader, the dynamic died. A stoic man doesn't shut off emotions. He governs them. He lets them pass like clouds, not storms. He speaks slowly, moves intentionally, responds, never reacts. That's strength. That's what commands respect. That's what builds attraction. You were too available, too emotional, too predictable, and in her eyes, that made you less of a mystery and more of a liability. But that was the old you. The new you? He doesn't overthink, overtext, or over-explain. He lets people feel the silence. He lets his absence speak louder than 1,000 anxious paragraphs ever could. And suddenly, she's the one wondering, if you're done letting your emotions sabotage your value, if you're ready to control your mind instead of leaking it, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. Calm is my power. Number 3. Detachment is magnetic. You don't need to yell to be heard. You don't need to chase to be seen. And you damn sure don't need to beg to be loved. Detachment is the loudest statement you can make without saying a word. And that's exactly why it works. Here's what most men never understand. Attention is currency. And the more freely you give it, the less it's worth. You made her rich with your energy. Constant compliments, instant replies, emotional check-ins, late-night overthinking, all for free. And what did it buy you? Silence, disrespect, distance. Why? Because scarcity creates value. She lost interest the moment she realized your attention was guaranteed. It wasn't earned, it wasn't rare, it was handed out like a free sample, easy to get, easy to toss. But when you detach, when you truly stop trying to prove your worth, when you go cold, calm, and distant, it changes everything. You become unpredictable. You become intriguing. You become a man she can't read, and that's the man she replays in her head. Why? Because silence makes people uncomfortable, especially when it comes from someone who used to worship them. Your detachment shifts the power dynamic. It flips the script. And suddenly, she's the one checking your story, wondering where you went, asking herself if she was ever really that important. That's the pull of stoicism. That's the power of restraint. A man who's mastered detachment is never at the mercy of another person's attention. He knows that validation means nothing if it's not aligned with self-respect. He knows that disappearing emotionally isn't weakness. It's strategy. It's a reset. It's how you take your power back. Let her wonder why you stopped reaching out. Let her feel the silence you used to fill. And when she circles back, as most do, let her meet a man who doesn't flinch. A man who chooses when to give energy and who to give it to. If you're done giving people free access to your soul, if you're ready to let your silence speak louder than your need, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My silence is strength. Number 4, stop asking why. Start saying whatever. Let's kill the habit that's draining your soul, the endless questioning. Why did she leave? Why did she change? Why wasn't I enough? Every why is a chain around your neck. Every overanalysis is another cut. And here's the truth no one wants to admit. You may never get the answers, and you don't need them. Closure is a myth sold to people too afraid to walk away. She left, she changed, she ghosted. Cool, whatever. That's your power now. The man you're becoming doesn't lose sleep over someone else's choices. He observes, accepts, and detaches. She made a move. You respond with silence, not confusion, not desperation, not some last-minute essay trying to win her back. Why she left isn't your concern anymore. You are not her emotional janitor. You don't clean up her messes. You're not her therapist. You don't decode her mixed signals. You're a stoic now. You don't ask why. You decide what's next. And here's what's next. You stop trying to understand someone who understood you and still walked away. That tells you everything. You stop trying to get closure from someone who couldn't give you honesty when it mattered. And most of all, you stop putting your healing in her hands. Because the longer you stay stuck in the why, the longer she controls you. The Stoic knows the only power is internal. The only truth that matters is the one he tells himself. She did what she did, I did what I did, and now I move on. Indifference isn't apathy, it's liberation. It means your peace is no longer up for debate. And when she realizes you no longer care about the why, that's when she starts asking questions of her own. If you're done giving people rent-free space in your mind, if you're ready to stop replaying the past and start owning your future, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. Whatever happens, I remain. Number 5. The mirror is the cure. You've been staring at her profile, rereading the messages, watching the stories, scrolling for clues. But here's the harsh truth. Nothing out there is going to save you. You won't find healing in her behavior. You won't find closure in her silence. You won't rebuild your worth through her regret. You rebuild by turning inward. You stand in front of the mirror, strip away every illusion, and face the man looking back. That's where the cure is. Not in her apology, in your accountability. Ask yourself, why did I give so much of myself to someone who didn't earn it? Why did I ignore the red flags just to keep the fantasy alive? Why did I abandon my purpose the moment she gave me attention? You weren't just betrayed by her. You betrayed yourself. You knew better, but you wanted her more than you wanted your own peace. And that's where the weakness grew. But here's the beauty in that brutal truth. Once you realize you were the problem, you become the solution. No more blaming, no more waiting, just raw, unfiltered self-reflection. You start building discipline. You get back in the gym. You build your finances. You master your emotions. You cut out the distractions. You elevate, not for her, not to make her regret it, but to become the man you should have been before she even met you. When you focus on the mirror, you stop obsessing over the past. You stop caring about who she's with, what she's doing, or if she misses you. Because the man in the mirror, he's finally focused. He's finally dangerous. He's finally free. And that's the moment everything shifts. If you're done searching for healing in someone else's hands, if you're ready to become the version of yourself that doesn't break for anyone, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I fix the mirror, not the memory. Number 6. Coldness commands respect. Let's be honest, your warmth got you walked on, your kindness got taken for granted, your loyalty became expected, and every time you tried to explain your pain, to show your heart, to talk things through, she pulled further away. Because you thought love would fix it. But she didn't want love, she wanted gravity. And gravity doesn't beg, gravity doesn't chase. Gravity is cold. It doesn't ask to be respected, it demands it through stillness. That's what you're becoming now. Cold, controlled, silent, and she'll feel it. The moment you stop reacting, the moment you stop texting first, the moment you stop caring, not pretending, but actually not caring, that's when the shift happens. That's when the energy flips. And suddenly, she respects you again. Because here's the paradox. The moment you stop giving her warmth, she starts chasing your cold. Why? Because coldness signals value. Coldness tells her you don't need her validation anymore, that you've reclaimed your self-respect, that she's no longer the center of your world. You are. Let her feel that frost. Let her feel what it's like to be ignored by the man who used to drop everything just to keep her happy. No outbursts, no explanations. Just stillness. Because silence cuts deeper than words ever could. Coldness doesn't mean you hate her. It means you love yourself more than the idea of her. It means you've stopped negotiating your worth. It means you finally understand. Comfort doesn't build respect. Boundaries do. Distance does. Power does. From now on, you don't overextend. You don't explain your silence. You let it echo. If you're done being the nice guy who gets left behind, if you're ready to become the man who commands respect without saying a word, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My cold is my boundary. Number 7. She'll feel your absence more than your presence. You were always there, weren't you? Every time she pulled away, you pulled in. Every cold reply, you tried harder. Every time she tested you, you folded, thinking effort would win her back. But now you know better. Your presence never made her stay. But your absence, that's what she'll remember. Let me break this down for you. When you were always available, you became invisible. She never had to earn you, never had to wonder about you. You were consistent, and that made you predictable. And predictability, that kills attraction. Fast. But now you're gone. Not blocked, not bitter, just gone. No contact, no posts, no messages, no emotional check-ins, just silence. And here's the dark truth. People don't value what they always have. They value what they suddenly lose. You don't need to say a word. Your silence will scream. She'll wonder why you stopped trying, why you stopped caring, why the man who once made her feel like a queen now treats her like a stranger. And that mystery, that emptiness, that haunts her. Because now she's the one scrolling through your old messages. She's the one thinking about your consistency. She's the one wondering if you ever truly cared or if you've already replaced her. And the longer you stay silent, the more powerful you become in her mind. Presence is comfort. Absence is power. And you're not playing the comfort game anymore. This is where you stop fighting for a place in someone's life and let them feel the loss of you, not out of spite, but out of respect for yourself. Because when you finally cut off access, you teach people what your energy was actually worth. If you're done making noise for people who treat you like background sound, if you're ready to let your silence leave a permanent echo, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. She will feel the void I used to fill. Number 8. Don't block her. Outgrow her. Blocking her is easy. Going silent is easy. Cutting her off and pretending she never existed? Tempting. But that's not power. That's impulse. That's emotion pretending to be strength. True power? That's when you don't need to block her, because you've already outgrown her. See, the goal isn't to delete her, it's to elevate beyond her reach. When you block someone out of spite, you're still reacting. You're still showing your hand. You're still saying, "You affect me enough to make me disappear." But when you stop responding because she no longer meets your standard, when you let her watch you level up in silence, When you leave the door open, not so she can walk through it again, but so she can see she's no longer welcome. That's the kill shot. Outgrowth is silent, it's spiritual, it's ruthless without ever being loud. She should see you on your grind, see your glow up, see your peace, see your progress, and realize she's no longer part of the story, not because you cut her off, but because she no longer qualifies to be written in. You don't need revenge. You don't need some dramatic goodbye. You just need focus. You keep moving. You build your body, your purpose, your bank account, your presence. And by the time she reaches out again, if she ever does, you won't even feel the urge to reply. That's growth. That's stoic discipline, not acting out of pain, but walking in power. Not deleting the past, but using it as fuel. Not pretending you're over her, but becoming so evolved that she wouldn't even recognize the man you've become. Because let's be real, blocking her doesn't make her miss you, but your evolution, that makes her question everything. If you're done reacting to pain and ready to use it to fuel your rise, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I don't block, I outgrow. Number 9. Never break frame again. She tested you, she changed her tone, she pulled back, she gave mixed signals. And what did you do? You panicked, you folded, you broke frame. You showed her that her behavior controlled your emotions, that she could move you with silence, with withdrawal, with a cold shoulder. And the moment she saw that power, she lost respect. Not because she's cruel, but because women are biologically wired to test strength, not out of malice but instinct, and you failed that test. Let's define this right now. Your frame is your mental state, your emotional posture, your internal compass. It's how calm, grounded, and clear you stay no matter what chaos is thrown at you. And when you break frame, you surrender that leadership. You stop being the mountain and start acting like the wind. That's what killed it. Every time you overreacted, every time you explained too much, every time you tried to argue for your worth or beg for understanding, you became unstable, uncentered, unattractive. But that ends today. From now on, you never break frame. You don't over-explain. You don't chase. You don't prove. You stay still. You stay solid. You lead with presence, not persuasion. Because the man who keeps his frame keeps her mind, and not just hers, everyone's, in business, in life, in love. That's stoicism. That's dark psychology. That's raw, unshakable presence. The man who never breaks frame becomes the gravity in every room. He's rare, he's respected, he's remembered. So next time you feel the urge to react, don't. Next time she gets passive-aggressive, stay calm. Next time she goes silent, you stay silent longer. You control the temperature, always. If you're done letting emotions hijack your power, if you're ready to walk in total control of your energy, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I never break frame. Number 10. Coldness is the cure. This is where it ends and where it begins. You've been through the fire, you've felt the sting of betrayal, the silence of rejection, the chaos of your own overthinking. You tried being warm, loving, loyal, software, and it broke you, but now you understand. Warmth didn't get you love. It got you used, it got you ignored, it got you replaced. So now, you go cold. Not bitter, not hateful, just untouchable. You stop reacting to breadcrumbs, you stop hoping for closure, you stop replaying the what-ifs, you shut the emotional faucet off and let the silence harden you, not in a toxic way, but in a disciplined way, in a stoic way. Because here's the truth. Coldness is not cruelty, it's control. It's the boundary between your peace and their chaos. It's the shield you wear when the world tries to pull you back into weakness. And yes, she'll notice it. She'll feel the difference. Not the man who texts long paragraphs, not the man who begs to be heard. Now she's dealing with the version of you that doesn't flinch, that doesn't wait, that doesn't need. Now, she's watching you from a distance, the one she created, and wondering how you became so cold, so focused, so far gone. That's not revenge, that's transformation. That's healing with your hands behind your back and your eyes forward. That's knowing you don't have to prove anything anymore. You've outgrown the pain. You've outgrown her. You walk now with your chest out, your energy clean, your standards high. You are not bitter. You are better. You don't speak for closure. You speak through your absence. You don't chase connection. You attract with control. And most of all, you don't go back, ever. Because the cold didn't kill you, it cured you. If you're done being the man who gets broken and ready to become the man who gets remembered, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. Cold made me clear. This is Stoic Blessing, and this is just the beginning.